Hi, in this lesson, I'm going to talk to you about the ascendant, how it is found out, and what is the relationship between the position of the sun and the ascendant. The ascendant, as I have already told you in the previous lesson, is the most important reference point in the horoscope because you count the positions of planets in your horoscope only from the point where the lagna is or the ascendant is. Therefore, the ascendant is always house number 1, and from there we will count clockwise. The next house is number 2, then the third house, fourth house, till you come to the 12th house. The objective of this lesson is to find out what is the relationship between the sun and the ascendant. Therefore, let us start by discussing the role of the sun in your chart. Now, the most important thing is you have to find out where the sun is in your chart, and for that you need to know the date of birth. Okay, from the date of birth you will know where the sun is in your chart. The reason for that is the sun takes around a year to go around the 12 signs. The first sign is this one. I marked it as 0 degrees here. You can see here. Each sign is 30 degrees long. 0, 30, 60, 90. So from here 0 goes to 90, 150, 180, 330 and 360, we are back to 0. This is the path through which all the planets that are written down in your horoscope actually travel. So let us take a date. For example, on January 25th, where will the sun be? To find that out, you need to know when the sun enters this, the first one, because he's going to stay here for 30 days or maybe 30.5 days. So the sun comes here mid-April. So the sun comes to the first sign mid-April, and that's when in India the New Year is celebrated always during the mid of April. The reason for that is sun having traveled all the way 359 degrees comes to 0 degrees on that date. So from here onwards it's easy to calculate. This will be mid-May to mid-June, June to July, and so on. Take a piece of paper and write the date when the sun will approximately come into these houses. Just say mid-April here, and mid-May, mid-June, mid-July, mid-August, mid-September, and so on. So you will have to do this. So pause the video, take a piece of paper and do this before you continue with the video. So once we know the date of birth, which is January 25th, we know that the sun is here because the sun enters this sign mid-Jan and stays here till mid-Feb. So for this person, let us say we will keep it here because his sun will definitely be here. Anybody born on 25th Jan will have the sun here. Not only 25th, 26th, 27th, any date between mid-Jan and mid-Feb. So we'll drop sun here, and then we'll try to find out where to put the lagna. To understand that, we need to know what is actually the ascendant or the lagna. The ascendant or the lagna actually is a result of Earth's rotation around its axis. So the ascendant is actually the sign that rises on the eastern horizon at the time a person is born. What rises on the east during sunrise is the same sign in which the sun is. Is it not? Because the sun rises on the eastern horizon during sunrise. It is placed in a sign. Though the sign is invisible, you can mentally think that the sign is rising along with the sun. Though the sun is actually moving 1 degree a day on the sign, you can imagine that the sun rises along with the sign itself. So if the sun is in Makara, Makara will rise during sunrise. So if this person was born during sunrise, you can safely put the ascendant here. If he was born 2 hours later, it will be the next ascendant. And then 2 hours later, it will be the next ascendant. 2 hours later, here. 2 hours later, here. And so on. Every 2 hours, the ascendant moves forward. So, what you can do is, you can actually write the rough time from here as 6 o'clock to 8, 8 to 10, and then 10 to 12, 12 to 2, and so on. And just by knowing the time of birth, you can put the ascendant. This is actually a rough method. You still need a computer horoscope to calculate the exact lagna, because the lagna is very sensitive to the time of birth. It also responds to the latitude and longitude change. So it's very complex, but this is the easiest way to understand at least the logic behind the ascendant. When you have a computer horoscope, there is nothing like it. You always depend on a computer horoscope because the lagna is calculated accurately in most of the softwares. And if you don't know on what basis the ascendant is actually fixed, then it is not good, because whenever you get a horoscope, you can cross check with the person based on the lagna, at least were you born during this time. And if he's going to tell you something 2 hours off the mark of whatever you are trying to say, then most probably the input was wrong. The time of birth was not properly entered in the software, and so there has been an error. So it's always a good practice to note where the lagna is and then ask the person, were you born around this time? And that will give you confidence that you are dealing with the right horoscope. So before finishing this short lesson, I'd like to repeat again another way of looking at it. Whoever has the lagna and the sun together is most probably born around sunrise time. And if you had placed the lagna here, then the sun will be in the 10th house from here. So if you count from here, 1, 2, 3 clockwise, you go around like this and count from this place. So now you can see the sun is actually in the 10th house. Whoever has got the sun in the 10th house is most probably born during the noon, when the sun is above. So the 10th house is actually above your head, straight up in the sky. So whichever planet is in the 10th has a great hold on you. It's a great effect on you and great effect on your karma and livelihood because the 10th house is the house of profession and purpose of life. So if you move the lagna here, and from here if you count, the sun is actually in the 7th house. It's just opposite of being here. So if this is sunrise, this will be sunset. And during sunset, you will find from lagna, the 7th house will have the sun. So planets in the 7th are actually sitting. If this is east, this is west. Okay. And then if the person is born in midnight, the lagna will be here always with respect to the sun. Because if a person is born during midnight, his sun, the sun in his horoscope, will be in the 4th house. This is the easiest way to at least understand the concept of the lagna. So thank you. Please come back for the next lesson.